Oh, hey there. So Church Connect, it's a church website and it's an app and it is really easy to use. But there is a lot going on in it, so let me show you how to get started. Okay, so before you jump in, the first thing you're going to want to do is customize your Church Connect keyword. Now, this is your unique URL of your church's website. And even if you already own your custom domain that you'll be using with Church Connect, you still want to do this. And so go ahead to the Church Connect feature and go to the page setup. And this you'll find the customize your link now. Go ahead, pick a keyword that is available for your church to use so that way you can start using it in Church Connect. Now, once you have all of that done, you're ready to start diving into all the things in Church Connect. So let me go ahead and let's start with the cards, because cards are pretty much the foundation of Church Connect. They show up not only on your church website, but your church app, and they're kind of like the meat if this thing was a sandwich. So let's dive into what cards are. So when you go to the card screen, you select add a card. You've got all these different types of cards available. Now, I'm not going to go through what every single one does, but just long story short, a page card, it gives you the ability to create another page. A link card links to an external link outside of your website, such as maybe your live stream on YouTube. You have form cards, a family card for people to add their information, and so many other types of cards. So definitely check out some of our other videos to get more familiar on these different types of cards. Now, once you've added your cards and you start creating them, you have so many different customization options. And whenever you're building these things out, you can also customize even deeper in terms of how these cards are displayed on your website, which is really cool. Probably one of my favorite features when it comes to using your cards is the ability to scroll down just a little bit to show additional card options here. And this is where I can actually set up a card to be displayed of whether or not someone is logged in. Now, this is a really key point that I just want to take a brief time out just to stress again. When you're building your Church Connect, you're not only building your church app and your website, but you're actually building two completely separate experiences. One on which when people are logged in, they see certain cards, and another in which when people are not logged in, they'll see certain cards or not see certain cards. So definitely get familiar with the card status and figure out which cards you want to have displayed when someone is logged in or not logged in. But again, these cards, they have so many different customization options, from adding your own pictures, and depending on the type of card you're adding, you're gonna have a lot of different options available there. Okay, so I could spend all day talking about cards, but let's dive into some other things here. Let's talk about the page setup tab, because there's a lot going on here. Now, the page setup tab, this is where you're in essence building your church's website. This is where we really start diving into just the whole creation and everything. And I'm gonna work from the top down here. So on the top here, we have our nav bar. And your nav bar in your website, you have the ability to have your own background color. You can have your text either be light or muted, dark, an accent color. You can have the height be adjusted if you want large, medium, small. And then you can also put in your church's logo. Highly recommend. My church logo is just regular text right now, but obviously whatever your logo is, you can put that in there. Definitely recommend using a PNG transparent file for this, just FYI. And then also your links. This is where you can actually link to all the different pages in your website. And I purposely left these here where they just say like a card number, because you actually have the ability to make your pages whatever text you want to be on there. By default, it's going to just say card and then number, but you'll want to go ahead and update it. So if one is your giving page, you want it to be /give, and you can do all that in that particular page. So, okay, that is the nav bar. Now let's keep moving down here. Let's talk about some of the other sections going on here. This next section here, this is our hero section. And with your hero section, this is like above the fold. This is the big part of your website in which you're telling people who you are and kind of having like a big call to action. And you can customize all this stuff out. You can have your own background color and everything here. And so when I actually have it refreshed, there is my background that I have that I've already created and selected. And you can update your text. You can put buttons in here, all that good stuff. Now moving on, we have additional sections. You can continue to start adding sections here. And just to show you really fast, like I'm just gonna add a section into my website. and I can go to this content and I can go ahead and start pulling from a template if I'd like to do that, or you can actually add a paragraph, an image, a button. Most churches are going to use our templates feature because this just makes your life so much easier. We've already got predefined templates that we've created just to be able to hit the ground running fast. And so that way, when you find something you want to use, you can select it, add it in there. So we've got a lot of templates that you can leverage. Now, just be sure whenever you have gone ahead, created everything, it's not going to show up on your website or your app until you have published to your web. In fact, I take that back. It's not even going to publish to your app because these aren't your cards, and the cards are what show up on your app. So there you go, gotcha. All right, so moving along, we have other section here with our cards. And if I wanted to update this section, it actually takes me back to the cards tab. So just a little FYI there. But as I continue to scroll through here, you can see I've got other sections I've created here by using many of the templates and just adding my own content. And then we have our footer of our website. Now, the footer of your website, this is actually kind of a very subtle thing, but it's also a big deal. In ChurchTrac, you have the ability to create your footer and have social media links and everything. I'm actually using a custom footer. I would highly recommend that. And I would also highly recommend leveraging the ability to embed a map on your footer. This actually helps a lot with your overall website SEO. And it also just makes it easier for people to quickly find out where your church is located and everything. It's kind of an industry standard now for a lot of churches to just have their map embedded on the footer of their website, and then having your links and everything here so you can actually do that. And so when you go to edit footer, you have the ability to put in your social and all your different links that you want to link people to. Okay, so that was a lot there, but I just wanted to quickly show you the whole page setup aspect of this, because in essence, that is building out not only your landing page, but whenever I select the button up here on the top left, I have the ability to check out all these other pages that I can update. And so if I go to like the About Us page, here's another page where I can actually go put in content, update things, put in buttons, all that good stuff. So this is where you're building out all your different web pages of your church's website. Okay, now let's talk about the Connect Users tab. And as you see, I'm just moving from left to right here. So the Connect Users tab, these are all the users. When people create an account to have access to Church Connect, you're going to see all of those populate here. And whenever they do populate and people start requesting to be added, you'll have the ability to add those people. You'll see that show up. But once you start adding all your people, you have a couple options here, and I want to make sure you're aware of these. The most common thing that you're probably going to end up using as a leader is the reset password, because it's inevitable. People are just not going to remember their password, and instead of using the built-in password reset, they may just reach out to you as a church leader. So just know you have the ability to reset a person's password. If you need to delete a user, you can delete them. And then the other thing worth noting that I think is really important is the directory access. You definitely don't want to give full church directory access to someone unless you actually know they are a member at your church and everything. So highly recommend you vet everyone, not only whenever you're deciding whether or not to give them permissions for this, but also you just vet people as they add Church Connect accounts. It's super important in this day and age because so many scammers, as you are probably already aware, they are trying to infiltrate churches. They're trying to run phishing cams and swindle church members. So it's just really important to keep tabs on this. Okay, now moving along, we have the form responses. Now, one of the features I haven't really dove into much here, but it's the ability to create forms in Church Connect. And so a form card, if I go back to the cards tab just to show you real fast, we have a form card here that I can quickly pull up our prayer request. That's a form card. And so when people fill out this particular form card, those form card responses are then going to be in my form responses tab. And so you can actually select whatever card, form card you have and see all the form responses. You can export those out if you want to. One thing that I find really handy is when someone fills out a particular form response, you have the ability to go straight to that person's profile, or you can add a note, you can print that response, all that good stuff. So that's the form responses. You're probably going to end up printing out a lot of your form responses, especially if you're using a form for some sort of like situation where you need to get a lot of signups for something and it's not really like an event per se, you're just wanting to gauge interest on things or whatever that may be in your ministry. So there you go, that's the form responses. Now, Another feature we have here in Church Connect is the Add My Family feature. Now, there is a little bit of crossover. I just want to say this now between using Add My Family and creating a Church Connect account for your church members. What is really neat about this feature is you're going to have a lot of people. At the end of the day, you just want to get their information really quickly and easily. And so with Add My Family, you have a way to just give your people a QR code or a link that you can copy and then email, or you can put that on a button on your website, whatever. And what's really nice about this is people can quickly fill out their information, and then it will go into the queue where you can add their information into your church database. And then from there, if you want to get them to create a Church Connect account and everything, you can. This is a really great feature. Highly recommend it. It's one of the easiest ways to go from having a database of 0 people to like all of your people in just a few weeks. It's pretty wild. So you can learn more about that in the Add My Family article and video that we have on that. Okay, now the last tab here is the Church Connect settings. Now this is just a bunch of different settings here for your church website and your app. And just kind of working our way down here. Global settings, this is just enabling your Church Connect website and app. You can either enable or disable it. Having your solid background color and accent color here. The size for larger screens, and then moving to your card options. You have some customization of just what you want your cards to look like. And so if you wanted them to be like super rounded, well, you can do that. You can see how it looks as you change it and adjust it and everything. And then just some other things like the card width and the amount of space between your cards. And then just kind of going through like Connect user settings. I don't have time to cover all these, but I would encourage you to just go through, take a look at all these different settings and what they mean for you. For example, allowing your Church Connect users to upload their own profile picture. This is actually really great because it just saves you time having to take pictures of all your people. You can just have your people provide their own photos. You can also have people notified when someone is registered. So a specific ChurchTrac user, someone on your leadership. So in this case, I have Matt. He gets notified every time someone creates a Church Connect account. So great to have that. And a few other options there. I encourage you to just check them out. Then sharing your Church Connect app. This is a big deal. What this does is this gives you a unique URL for your church. And this URL you can actually put on your website. If you're not using Church Connect as your website, maybe you're using Church Connect just as your church app, then I would put this URL on your website, but you can also share it in email. You can send it via text message to your people. This special URL takes people directly to the Church Connect app in the App Store, and when they download the app, it actually takes them straight to your church and everything. It's called a deep link. Pretty neat. And that works for both iOS and Android devices. This QR code that you can download, it is that link. It takes them to that. Now, if you are in a situation where your people in your church, they just go straight to the App Store or Google Play and they download the Church Connect app, they're going to need to know your church's unique identifying code, and that code's going to show up right here in this area. So just kind of keep that in mind. Now, moving along, there's a lot going on here. Just stay with me. The other thing we have here is our app settings. This is where you can enable app giving. This is where you can enable media. You can even have a specific card that shows up on your media for people to get connected or submit a prayer request, stuff like that. Really cool stuff. And then we also have custom CSS. If you don't know what custom CSS is, you don't want to touch this because you can make your website look kind of wild and crazy, kids. But if you do know a thing or two about CSS and coding, you can actually dive in and really customize your website experience even more so. Using like Google fonts and having specific colors and other types of neat things you can do when it comes to customization of a website. Then we have domain setup. This is where you would actually set up your church's custom URL if you already own a domain that you want to use for Church Connect, which most churches, they're going to end up doing this. So we have a lot of directions that show you how to do that. Site tracking, this is one of those things if you're utilizing Google, and then also the online giving, we have the ability to have our unique URL for online giving and everything. Highly recommend, just to throw it out there, with online giving and ChurchTrac, through our integration with Stripe, all this works, and it just makes everything so seamless. With our online giving, if you're a nonprofit organization, you qualify for Stripe's nonprofit pricing, which is super competitive, and you can learn more about that in our online giving article, or just check out one of our videos on that. And online giving, it just works so seamlessly with Church Connect. Okay, so I know, take a breath. It's a lot, and I just went through just a very quick overview of Church Connect. keep in mind, this is just an overview, and I just wanted to really just show you really fast all the things going on in here. We have other videos that really dive into each specific feature that I've covered in this video, everything from building your church's page to adding all your different cards. We have different videos for all the different card types and so much more. But if you do have questions, just reach out to our support team or visit churchtrac.com/support. We'll see you in the next video.